I know, you probably already heard about this, but as many good games as there are many more bad ones, and the ones I'm about to show you present some especially negative traits, making them big disappointments in the gaming industry. This isn't necessarily a list of bad games, but actually a list of games that failed to impress us, that failed our expectations in a way or another. Now, I know that a lot of people are going to get mad about this video because their favorite game might be in here, so let me know down in the comments. Am I wrong about any of the games I put on this list? And if you think so, let me know why. We are going to start off strong with one of the worst games of all time, which was actually recently published, and that game is The Day Before. What a complete shit. I was actually expecting this one because a lot of people were claiming that this game was going to be a scam, and I chose to trust those guys. Good for me, I guess, because this game turned out to be a complete fucking scam. The only thing that got people actually hyped about this game was the first trailer that looked actually good, showing us an interesting game idea that is a combination of The Division with some escape from Tarkov mechanics and a bit of inspiration from The Last of Us as well. This game really sounded too good to be true, so that's why I was sketchy about it, and also why I chose to trust the people on the internet that were constantly stressing the fact that this game was gonna be a fucking scam. And oh boy, I'm so glad I trusted that Reddit guy. Funny days. If you see this Doommaker55, I love you, dude. When this released, oh god, it was such a big mess that I can't even describe it in words, but since I'm a content creator, I must try, right? The first thing would be that The Days Before had none of those cool gameplay elements that they presented in the first trailer. It had like 20% of each concept presented in the trailer, but that's it, and I think 20% is actually much. The developers even had the nerve to talk shit on the internet about receiving backlash and about people not liking the fucking game, which was actually fucking trash, so that's funny. Game studios doing that these days, that's funny. Anyway, this game disappointed a lot of people, and trust me, a lot, because this was the most wishlisted game on Steam. Imagine making a wish and receiving this game, and I would end my fucking days. Imagine that this game launched and got deleted after only 3 days. That's insane, and I'm saying imagine, but it's actually reality. This shit got put down like a fucking dog in 3 days only, so you can take whatever you want from this video, but that says it all. Maybe it's just me, but when you show people a trailer and make a promise to deliver something, if people actually trust you and like your game, they're gonna probably buy it when it's launched. They're gonna probably wishlist it, and you're gonna get some of hard-working man's money, if we could say so, right? So in my opinion, if you have the nerve to talk shit about your player base in these kinds of situations, you gotta be put down like a fucking dog and worse. All this being said, I think I have the right to say that this game is a fail and trash. Let's continue. The next disappointment on my list is the Saints Row reboot. The fucked up thing here is not necessarily the game itself, but what pissed people off was that they did the exact Saints Row game they had done before, maybe even worse if you ask me. Like, wasn't this supposed to be a reboot, making it new and fresh? This is one of the games that had its peak time, but after a while, everybody was like, this shit is boring, the old ones do this better, let me check those out again. You don't believe me? After this game's light era, as some people call it, the developing company that also developed the older Saints Row games were low-key shut down. So the disappointment of this game came with the fact that it is totally lifeless and dull. One of those games that tried to make everybody happy and ended up making everybody fucking mad, including me. This is a game I bought because I didn't have any savior to tell me about the boredom of this game and what it would bring into my life, the sadness. It lacked a clear focus, a clear spot where you need to get. I'm not even lying to you, I played the entire story, which, yes, it's short, I know, but the thing is, when I finished the game I had completely no clue. Number 1, how I got there, number 2, why I got there, and number 3, why the fuck would I ever get into this shit game again? People call this a forgettable game, but God knows I've been trying to forget this piece of ass for a long time. It doesn't go away, bro. And unforgettably and utterly bad. That's what it is. Did I mention the ton of glitches? If I didn't, I'm doing it now. It was glitchy as fuck. Let's go on. Oh god, we're gonna talk about this one. Next on my list of disappointments and fucking failures, we have Redfall, a vampire game from 2023 in which the vampires stopped sucking blood and sucked the soul out of me when playing this monstrosity of a game. Fuck You, Redfall. This is yet another game that let us down with the various glitches, technical problems, and the overall poor quality experience of the game. The fun in this game was probably sucked by the vampires because this game was totally drained of the fun factor, man. This game had no compelling loop, no interesting or new mechanics, and overall, no fucking enjoyment, man. It pains me to think about the fact that the same people that created Dishonored and Deathloop created this piece of ass. Like, we also thought that these guys had what it takes to make this game actually good, but apparently the guys that made the Dishonored and Deathloop got locked in the basement somewhere in Redfall studio and some fuckheads took over, I don't know. Even to this day, people are posting online asking if anybody knows what the fuck happened to Redfall. And the answer is always the same, nothing good. There is a lot of disappointment here. That Arcane, who developed the amazing Dishonored games, made this piece of ass when everybody was expecting a next level type shit, considering their past wins in the gaming industry. Since the release of this game, nobody liked it. It was pretty much dead from the moment of arrival. So finally, Arcane, if you're watching this, work on Dishonored 3, please, instead of these products that you don't even finish before releasing. You're making people sad and angry. Maybe I am, people. Let's go over to number 4 and we have Cyberpunk 2077, but I am referring to the version that was initially released back in 2020. The bugs and glitches this game had in its first period of life were something the gaming industry has never seen before. Never before have there been so many different bugs in a game. At the time of the official release, I was searching Reddit, trying to find out if some people can actually play the game without problems. But what everybody was saying was how they finished the game with so many glitches and bugs and problems, eventually ending their text with a message stating that if the game doesn't get fixed, nobody is going to keep playing it. Maybe just the story, but that's it, and that's much if you ask me. Now, if you think the PC version had problems, you should see the console one, bro. It looked like you took a shit on a bright, colorful paper, then proceeded to stretch it all over the paper with your bare fucking hands. Imagine that. That was the console version of Cyberpunk 2077. The PS version even got delisted from the PSN store, so imagine the shit state that the game was in. Never ever have I seen YouTube so full of videos of bugs and glitches of a single game. The fact that it was such a big problem made people actually create a trend where they were creating memes about all the glitches in every part of the game. However, now the game is one of the best out there. I have to say that CD Projekt Red really lived up to their promise of making this game much better with the time, of course. They stuck with the game, they kept working, they kept listening to community feedback, looking for bugs and glitches to fix, eventually making one of the best games that's out there in 2024. That's Cyberpunk 2077. The updates, the expansions, this game got really big. It shows a game studio can come back. Nevertheless, the disappointment was the original release. The last disappointment on today's list is Babylon's Fall. I'm not even going to lie, this game looked like trash from the start, bro. It looked like it had no life in it, and it didn't. It looked like it was dull, boring, and with no actual compelling or interesting story. I'm literally laughing when talking about this game, bro, because it's fucking funny. This shit was trash, man. When it was first announced, when we released, this shit was fucking trash, man. It's actually funny. Anyway, so the disappointment was not necessarily in the gameplay, because people were already pretty much expecting this to be a flop, but actually in the fact that this game is developed by Platinum Games, the people between many games. Just search them up, and just not many but good and interesting games. This just felt like a weird game with an even weirder live service type of thing added. It's weird, really. It's kind of a brawler with a boring world, which was definitely unexpected considering the worlds that these guys built in their own games. Their other games were fucking awesome. I'm not gonna tell you which other games they did, just search them up and you will see the people that made this piece of ass. It was supposed to be kind of an action hack and slash brawler co-op live service game, but the action is not there and the gameplay mechanics are shit. All this being said, this game turned out to be a complete failure in a very short time after launch, because this was a game that nobody asked for, and besides that, it was totally trash when it came out. So I totally understand that sometimes studios have to make sacrifices, if I can call them that, and take bigger contracts for money, eventually making a game or two that are either not their style or just not their kind of art, but I would much rather have no beta and live in the dark than releasing this game or any game like this to any fucking audience, man. Not even to people I hate. So as a conclusion for you guys, I'm gonna say this. As a gamer, I got used to things like this happening in the industry, like, unfortunately, yes. It's not the first, second, and definitely not the last time we see this happening. Either way, there are some disappointments too, so if you think that a game on this list shouldn't be here and there is a game that's worse, let me know that in the comments and I'll add it to the next video. I would love to make a part with your opinions because everybody has their own standards for gaming and my disappointments might not be yours. Real quick before ending, if you got so far into the video, I thank you so much for checking my content and I invite you to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this in the near future. Until then, I was Vlad, your host, as you all know, and I'll see you next time. But not in a game like this.